Mental shift is a literal shifting of your mind. Basically, you're putting your human to sleep for a while, and your animal is taking 100%, your animal brain is taking over. Some people warn that you get stuck like that for life, but I'm living proof that that's doesn't have to be the case. Sometimes when we shift into our other half of our brain, the animal side wants to, think about it. It's been suppressed all its life, and it's finally free and it wants to stay there. And so you've got your human fighting with your animal side, and the animal side says, no, I'm in control now. I'm staying like this. And then that's when people can get stuck. So in order to avoid that, there are two things. First is just simple willingness. Willingness, okay, obviously be like, okay, there's certain things that I just have to do as a human. My job, using the loo, that I won't be able to do with my animal mind. In your animal mind, you literally forget how to use your thumbs, forget how to walk and talk like a human, forget how to use the loo. Yes, you do. As a human. Anyway, so it really is 100% animal brain. You've got heightened instincts, and everything, and the only way to, for sure, be able to not butt heads, if you're worried about who's stronger, just put yourself into a trance. You have to train yourself to do this. So sometimes you can listen to kind of meditative music or something and help yourself get there. But you can train yourself to go into a trance, not only to come back to human, but vice versa. Say you've never done this before and you are having an immense difficulty shifting into the animal side of you. That trance-like state just neutralizes everything. It neutralizes everything, so you're not thinking anything. You're in a trance, a literal trance, and that trance allows for both sides to quiet so that you can make a decision, so that you can choose. Do I want to wolf now, or do I want to human now? And wolf is, just mine, but it can be anything. Do I want to animal now, or do I want to human now? Once you're in that trance-like state, there's no butting heads, because both sides of you are kind of, in a trance. And all you've got to do is make the decision, okay, I'm going to come back human now. And like I said, the rest of it is just basic willingness, basic mind over matter. When I was a child, I was abused, and I was forced to not be myself, and it got suppressed so much that it exploded one day and came out when I least expected it. And then I had no idea what it was, didn't even know what mental shift was, and temporarily got stuck like that. So I know from experience of learning how to control it that it is possible to control, and that usually it doesn't get that out of control unless you've suppressed it for too long. If you do this, ironically, if you give yourself enough of an outlet that you're doing stuff like this, on a regular basis, not at the drop of a head every single second of your life, but on a regular basis, just here and there, then it's much less likely to explode and get out of control. You don't always have to do a mental shift either. You can just do vocalizations or running on your hands and feet or something like that. Most of us, we just instinctively learn that as children because that's a part of who we are. If you're what I call an animal soul, you just do that naturally. You already know how to do that. And if you allow yourself to do that as an adult, then you're not suppressing it as much. But nothing can 100% replace what mental shift does. Because mental shift is allowing your animal brain to completely take over for a while. You have to have a tether to reality, to your human side always. By that I mean you need to know that, okay, you really are still human. Mental shift has no magic in it, really, other than maybe putting yourself into a trance and inciting that. Really, the rest of it has no magic. So, you have to know that you've got that tether to reality, that yes, I am acting like an animal, I'm thinking like an animal, but my body is still human right now. My body is still human. You have to, I know it sounds odd, but some people, once they get too deep into that, they forget and they start getting a little delusional. If it is a literal shift, a literal, shift in the brain, in the mind. Okay, you're going into an altered state of mind, and when you're in an altered state of mind, it's very easy to kind of go places, very similar to when you put yourself in an altered state of mind when you do astral projection. Your spirit's literally leaving your body at that point, but and it's not when you're doing this, you within your body still, obviously, but that kind of altered state has just properties to it that you can sometimes kind of go places. It's almost like being on drugs, but you're totally sober. That's what the kind of altered state feels like. And so, you can't trust that if you don't allow that tether to be there. You can't fully trust that if you go too deep, you won't start getting a little, so I'd say that's the most often, if it's not bottled up, that's the other time that's most often where people get stuck, is when they lose that tether to reality. So you have to constantly be aware of where you really are in your surroundings. Yes, I still have fingers, but I'm gonna use them like paws. But I still do have fingers, but I'm gonna use them like paws. So literally, let me kind of explain what happens. If you haven't gotten the full picture yet, but you're probably already starting to. If I see something, mine's wolf, so if I see something out in the yard, I'm going to chase it, probably. I'm going to chase it like, on all fours, chase it. I'm going to stalk it. I'm going to use wolf body posture. If I smell something, I'm going to sniff around to try and find the source of it. If I hear somebody at the border of the property, I'm going to start growling, maybe even howling, becoming territorial. Be careful where you do this. Be careful, I can't say it enough. Be careful where you do this. Because if it's anywhere where people can see you, you might not, your wolf side or your animal side might not have enough sense that, oh, people see me, I'm going to probably get taken to an insane asylum because they see me like this. And they think that it's something, of insanity instead of what it really is. So, be careful when and where you do this. Because, especially, give yourself something to do, because I will start tearing shit up. My wolf side does not care what gets ruined, and for whatever reason, I like fabric. I like to tear fabric up with my teeth, and if I don't put some kind of botched fabric in front of myself, I will find the first thing that I can find, whether it be a couch or a really nice shirt or really nice pants. So I have to put whatever is not nice in front of me. So that will distract me, and that is what I'll tear up instead. Jerky also, sometimes I distract myself with jerky. It sounds stupid until you actually get into mental shift, and then you realize when you come back into your human brain, you realize what a fucking mess you just made. Then you don't think it's so foolish. So, yeah, your wolf brain's going to think like a wolf, or animal brain is going to think like an animal, not like a human. What's important to your human will not be important at all to your wolf or to whatever animal you are. And probably, to a certain extent, it's going to have to be, that tether there, that you still have to have in your brain when it's time to come back to reality. You have to say, okay, there are things that I cannot do as an animal. I have a job, I have responsibilities, I need to force myself back to human now. You do have to kind of remember all that. You can't just let your animal side run free forever. But once you remember that and you come back to human, what you feel like after, it's almost like waking up from a dream. It really is. It's like you were asleep and you woke up from a dream. And you wake up from that dream feeling really peaceful. Like all the stress is gone and well rested, and just like the most peace you've ever felt in your life. It really is, because you allowed yourself to be free. But when you go back to human, it feels like you woke up from a dream. You remember everything, but it still feels like it kind of dreamlike. So yeah, it is very much an altered state of mind, and I hope that helps. If you don't get it right away, keep at it. Eventually you will get it, and when you do get it, it's like that door just swings wide open.